Hey everyone! Welcome to our podcast. If you're looking to level up your English skills, you've come to the right place. We'll be chatting about everyday topics, which will help you improve your speaking and listening skills. You'll hear natural conversations between native speakers, so you can pick up useful phrases, idioms, and expressions. And the best part? You'll learn how to sound more fluent and confident. So, grab a cup of tea and let's get started.
Yeah, today's conversation will be packed with useful tips and relatable topics. And even though it's a casual chat, you'll find it's a great way to immerse yourself in the language. I always find that listening to natural conversations helps me with vocabulary and pronunciation. Plus, it's fun. So let's jump right in and start practicing.
All right, so to kick things off, let's talk about something I think most of us can relate to: social media. It's crazy how much time I spend scrolling these days. Honestly, I don't even realize how quickly the hours slip by. Before I know it, I've spent half my day on Instagram or TikTok, and I'm thinking, wait, where did the time go? It's becoming a bit of a problem for me, to be honest.
I feel you. I've noticed the same thing. Social media can be so addictive. One minute, I'm just checking a few posts, and the next thing I know, I'm watching random videos for hours. I've started to wonder what all that time is really adding to my life. Am I learning something? Am I being productive? More often than not, the answer is no.
Exactly. And it's not just about wasting time either. I've realized that it's also affecting other areas of my life, especially work. I used to be super focused during the day, but now I find myself constantly distracted. I'll check my phone between tasks and then, suddenly, I'm sucked into this endless loop of scrolling. It's like social media is stealing my focus.
That's so true. I've started noticing how it impacts my mood too. Sometimes, after spending hours online, I feel exhausted, even though I haven't really done anything. It's like I'm drained mentally from all the noise and information, and I think it's affecting my productivity at work as well. I used to be more organized, but now I find it harder to concentrate.
Yeah, and it's not just work. I've seen it affect my relationships too. I'll be hanging out with friends or family, and instead of being present in the moment, I'm glued to my phone. It's almost like we're losing the art of real conversation because we're so focused on what's happening online. I think it's time to reevaluate how we use social media.
You're absolutely right, Sophia. It's like we're all connected, but at the same time, we're more disconnected than ever. I've noticed it's not just me. Everyone around me is doing the same thing. Whether it's at the dinner table or even during meetings, people are always checking their phones. And then we wonder why we feel lonely or isolated sometimes. We're interacting with our phones more than we are with each other.
It's funny you say that because I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I remember a time when I could just enjoy a quiet moment without feeling the urge to grab my phone. Now I can't even sit still for 5 minutes without checking for notifications. It's like we're afraid to be bored or alone with our thoughts. But maybe those moments of silence are exactly what we need.
That's such a good point. I've been trying to create more unplugged time in my day where I intentionally put my phone away and just focus on being present. It's been challenging, but I've noticed it really helps me clear my mind. I think we need to remind ourselves that it's okay to disconnect sometimes. We don't need to be available 24/7 or constantly entertained by our screens.
Exactly. I've started setting time limits on my social media use. For example, I'll give myself only 30 minutes in the morning and another 30 minutes in the evening to check my accounts. Once the time is up, I put my phone away. It's a small change, but it's helped me regain some control over my time. Otherwise, I'd end up wasting hours mindlessly scrolling.
I've heard some people even take full social media detoxes, where they log off completely for a week or more. I haven't tried that yet, but I'm definitely considering it. I think it's all about finding balance, you know? Social media isn't necessarily bad, but when it starts taking over your life, that's when you need to step back and reassess.
Definitely. It's all about balance. It's not like we're saying you should cut social media out completely. It can be a great tool for staying connected, learning new things, and even relaxing. But it's when it starts to interfere with your productivity, mental health, and relationships that it becomes a problem. So maybe it's about being more mindful of how we use it and setting boundaries.
Yeah, I've started being more intentional with the content I consume. Instead of just following random accounts, I've curated my feed to include things that inspire me, teach me new skills, or bring positivity to my life. That way, even when I do spend time on social media, it's time well spent, and I feel like I'm getting something valuable out of it.
That's a great idea, Line. I've been thinking of doing the same, following more educational or motivational accounts and cutting out the ones that don't really add value to my day. It's easy to get caught up in the highlight reel of other people's lives, but at the end of the day, what matters is how we're spending our own time and energy.
Exactly. And maybe we can even encourage our friends and family to do the same. I think social media can be a great place for positive connections if we use it in the right way. It's just about being more conscious of how we're using it and making sure it's adding value to our lives rather than just wasting time.
Totally. Maybe we can even start a little social media detox challenge and see how it goes. We can set goals, like spending less time online, and share our progress with each other. Who knows? It might inspire others to join in and make more mindful choices about their social media habits, too.
That's a cool idea. It's funny how social media, which was meant to connect us, has made us feel more distant sometimes. But if we can use it more thoughtfully, it can still be a positive force in our lives. I like the idea of turning it into something intentional, maybe using it to learn, connect in meaningful ways, or even spread good vibes instead of just scrolling aimlessly.
Exactly. It's all about how we use it. I've been following more educational accounts lately, things like language learning, cooking, and even fitness tips. It's been a refreshing change from just seeing selfies and vacation pics all the time. It feels like I'm actually getting something useful out of my time online.
I've noticed that too. It's really about shifting your mindset. Social media can be an incredible tool for personal growth if you use it wisely. For example, I've joined a few online communities related to my hobbies, and it's been a great way to learn and connect with others who share similar interests. It makes my time online feel more purposeful.
And I think that's the key, using social media with intention. If we all took a step back and thought about why we're logging on, we'd probably realize that we don't need to be on there as much as we are. Maybe we're just filling the silence or avoiding something else, like work or real-life conversations.
That's so true. I think a lot of people use social media as an escape from reality, but it's important to remember that real life is happening right in front of us. Maybe we need to spend more time living in the moment instead of constantly documenting it or comparing ourselves to others. Life is too short to be spent entirely behind a screen.
Absolutely. Real-life experiences are what matter most. And honestly, when we look back on our lives, we're not going to remember the hours we spent scrolling through social media. We're going to remember the meaningful conversations we had, the moments we shared with loved ones, and the things we accomplished offline.
Exactly. It's about creating real connections and memories. So maybe it's about time we start being more intentional with how we spend our time, both online and offline. We can still enjoy social media, but with limits and purpose. And most importantly, we shouldn't let it replace the meaningful parts of our lives.
Yeah, that's a great takeaway. I think setting boundaries for ourselves is key. Maybe we can start by dedicating specific times of the day to check social media instead of letting it take over every free moment. And we can focus more on spending quality time with people around us, being fully present when we're with them.
That's definitely something I want to work on. I've realized how much I miss out on by being distracted all the time. Whether it's missing a funny story a friend is telling or not fully enjoying a beautiful sunset, because I'm too busy trying to capture it for Instagram. These are moments that I can't get back. I want to experience life more fully, without the constant urge to check my phone.
Exactly. It's about making memories, not just documenting them. I've started doing something similar. When I'm out with friends or family, I make a conscious effort to put my phone away. It's amazing how much more engaged I feel in conversations and how much more connected I am with the people around me.
That's such a good habit to develop. And maybe we can challenge each other to keep this up. Whether it's limiting social media use, focusing on more meaningful interactions, or just being more present in our daily lives, it's something we can all work on together.
Well, I think we've covered a lot today. From social media habits to being more mindful in how we spend our time, there's so much we can all take away from this conversation. It's a good reminder that while social media can be fun, it's important to not let it consume us.
Definitely. It's all about balance. If we can learn to use social media in a healthier way, we'll not only feel better mentally, but we'll also be able to connect with the people and the world around us in a more meaningful way.
Exactly. So let's all take a step back, reflect on our habits, and start making positive changes. And remember, life happens in the real world, not just through a screen. So let's enjoy the present and make the most of our time.
I love that. And for all of you watching, we hope you found this conversation helpful and that it inspires you to rethink how you're using social media. If you're up for the challenge, try setting some limits and see how it changes your day-to-day life.
And if you liked today's discussion, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more insightful conversations. We've got plenty more topics to explore that will not only help you improve your English, but also help you navigate the world around you.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. See you next time for another great conversation. And who knows, maybe next time we'll be starting that social media detox challenge together.
Bye, everyone!